Libra, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early to mid February 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes in energy and see what's happening for the lovely Libra collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. And guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for these beautiful Libras in early to mid February? What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. And at the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Libra. Early to mid February. What's the vibe? What's the energy? Let's get this card out. There we go. Nice and quick. Big focus. Big focus. And I think this card can be good. It does have a lot of layers to it. Like, especially there's an angelic spiritual protection. But I don't want to say it's like a hyper fixation, but it's just like full on focused on something. And for some of you, that could be an advice. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the February subscriber surprise towards the end. So you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye. You know, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this card. So as you can see, there's a very intriguing piece of imagery in front of us today. We have this bald-headed individual with the Vitruvian man on top of their head. Big angel wings. I'm not sure if you can make that out. So to me, when I see an angel looking over a baby or a creation, that does feel like a guardian angel. So for some of you, that might just be some affirmation from spirit saying like, hey, Libra, we're with you, we're watching over you, we've been with you the whole time, which is a beautiful thing. This is also big when it comes to manifestation, especially whenever I see like a fetus and this angel looking over it, especially with the Vitruvian man. Feels like I'm building something, I'm manifesting and creating. So just know your powers to manifest and create could be heightened in this time. Doesn't matter what it is, it's all the same, right? When you break it down to energy and all that, that's a whole other video or channel, right? But if we also tie into what I was saying about focus, notice this angel is like deadlock focused on this creation. So for some Libras, maybe there's something or someone that you're giving a lot of your creative energy to or a lot of your focus. And that's not always a bad thing. I just want to make that clear. There's no judgment. Like focusing on someone or something sometimes is necessary. So just know, like, spirit might want you to focus on something a little more. Spirit might want you to focus on something a little less. It depends on what your story is when I see this. But it's great for the spiritual protection. It's really great for the manifesting. Just watch what you're focusing your creative power towards. So we're just going to leave that right there. They can keep doing whatever they're doing. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Let's shuffle it up one time here for the lovely Libras, my guides. And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. So it was titled Explosive Action Incoming. So whether it was coming from your end or someone else's end, to me it felt very rapid, felt very quick, 0 to 100. And sometimes that could be a good thing. So when we're talking about progress or making stuff happen, usually Libras take a very balanced approach to things, but this felt very intense. It felt very fiery. So again, whether it was someone else's energy or your own, that could bleed through for a couple weeks, where it's like, boom, I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to do it. So let's see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards here for Libra. What do we got for our good friends in early to mid February? Here we go. Okay. Oh, 2 cards. I thought it was just one, but there was another card sneaking underneath it. Remember, I only read the top row in upright, and then if there's any reversals on the bottom, we'll do that. But very swordsy. Now, for a Libra reading, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but swords, we always want to keep a very close eye on them. That's for sure, because that energy could do a little turn on us. Let's get one more, especially when I didn't even see that Ace of Swords coming in. All right, 9 of Pentacles. This energy is totally different. It's much more firm, where for some Libras, there could be certain areas of life that are like perfect, pristine. And there could also be other areas where it's like, I wish I could get everything the same. That's initially what I'm picking up. But let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. First look, first glance, the energy is comfortable. And I always like to look at the elements first. So, like, these are energies that you can work with as a Libra, that's for sure. Uh, Elements are good because it tells us how things are flowing, or the areas of life that can be highlighted. And we have a lot of air, and Libra is an air sign. So, like, when I see all this air up front, it's like, okay, you could work with that. You could work through it. I'm not going to like freak out about a Five of Swords because it can be a good thing. Could be a very determined card, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But when I see air, I think of logic, I think of practicality, I think of intelligence and the mind. You might be thirsting for information and diving down rabbit holes, and I want to know this and why it happens. It's great for planning and strategy. But and it's huge when it comes to communication, conversation, especially with the ace in the center. But the downside to air energy, sometimes it could be cold, sometimes it could be detached, sometimes it could be a little avoidant. So we'll take a look. On the back end, we have Earth, which does ground everything down a little bit. Earth is more about your sense of stability and security. It can represent routine, the material aspects of life. So think of work, home, family, investments, anything pinnacle related, right? The downside to this, I mean, usually it's good and secure, but yeah, Earth energy could sometimes be a little frustrating. Sometimes it could be an energy that's not moving how we want it to move, or there's just something about it where it feels clunky. So we'll have to see. Hopefully, it's not an energy that you feel is dragging you down. But let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, we're starting with the Five of Swords. Now, as you can see there, that's not the nicest piece of imagery, right? We have these individuals, they seem like they just got through battling each other. And this person is the clear cut victor and winner. He has all the swords. And these guys back there, they look like they just got their tails kicked. Now, the good thing, and I always like to start with the positive. The Five of Swords is great for determination. Okay, it's a card of self-focus, self-interest, and that is also something we see with the Nine of Pentacles. So, when they say, like, if you're pointing your finger that way, there's four more pointing back at you. There's just something about the energy where it's like looping back to you, looping back to you. And we'll get into specifics when we clarify, but I'm already picking that up. It's like looping back to Libra, looping back to Libra. Now, the Five of Swords, in its positive sense, is determined. This is an energy where there's no quit. Can't stop, won't stop. So I love it for that, where it's like it doesn't matter what problems or things or situations. I have no choice but to keep pushing. So I like it. However, there are some downsides to this card. Sometimes it could be a little too aggressive. Sometimes this card could be a little too pushy. Now, I'm not saying it's you, it could be someone in your circle, but this energy is just really too quick to aggression sometimes. It could represent anger. It could represent frustration. It could represent someone, nothing wrong with focusing on the self, right? Nothing wrong at all. Like, how can you pour from an empty cup? But this energy might be a little too self absorbed sometimes. Again, not saying it's you. If you deal with anyone that thinks they can do no wrong, Five of Swords, right? So we'll look and see what's up with that, because it could be great. It definitely could be great, but for some of you, it is worth keeping an eye on, especially with the aggression and potential anger. Now, moving to the center, we have the Ace of Swords. Now, normally I love all aces. To me, they represent offers and opportunities. They're fresh, they're new. The nickname for the Ace of Swords is the Sword of Truth. It's honest, it's straightforward, it's to the point. It sees things for what they are and sees them clearly. So whether this is what Spirit's trying to say, hey, Libra, just look at it for the facts. I mean, that could be part of it. But this is huge with conversation, because it's like, I will tell it like it is. I'm going to say what's on my mind. I'm not going to mince any words. So in the positive sense, this could be an honest, straightforward communication. In the rougher sense, this can be mean. All right, the Ace of Swords can cut deep. So, like, could this be something that's serious? Potentially. Serious talk, topic, conversation, possibly. But to me, the sword, if you're not careful with it, it can cut. So when it's right next to the Five of Swords, I'm like, ooh, okay, be careful with this one. So I'm not sure if Spirit's trying to caution you. On the back end, totally different vibe, but I don't feel completely satisfied with it, if that makes sense. So we have the Nine of Pentacles, and we see this lady. She's sitting there. She's in her garden. She's got her little bird. She's happy. She has everything she could want and need. So this is a great card for blessings and abundance, wins and victories. So in the most positive sense, this push, this energy could be pointing you in a very good direction. This is a lone wolf type of energy. When I see the Nine of Pentacles, it's like a card of independence. Like, I could do it on my own. I don't need any help. So Again, that could be great. I'm all about independence. I'm all about self care and self focus. Nothing wrong with that. But like with the Five of Swords and the Nine of Pentacles, it's like I kind of feel like I'm alone. I kind of feel like I'm doing something by myself, if that makes sense. And again, nothing wrong with that. The downside to the Nine of Pentacles, it's a very difficult energy to change. So if it's a routine, it's a very difficult a routine to get out of. If it's a behavior, it's a very difficult behavior to break through. So like there's great potential here, but at the same time, I'm not feeling fully supported. So I want to dive deeper on all of it, Libra. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's go in here. And yeah, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation. I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on the Five of Swords. And yeah, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Libra, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. All right, why is that Five of Swords here? Okay. Yeah. All right. So this energy seems to be something that is bubbling or has been bubbling for quite a while. In the best case scenario, this could be someone that's just not feeling fully at ease. In the worst case scenario, this could be someone that's like pissed, like mad, angry. So keep that in mind. I'm not sure. And I know Libras are generally very fair in their dealings with other people. But to me, with the Five of Swords and the Four of Swords in reverse, either one, this is a very restless type of energy where it's like, I don't know, like there's just something that's under my skin and it's bothering me. And like even this energy, watch out, make sure you're getting proper rest and sleep too, because this could be someone that's like very irritable. Like that's the big energy I'm picking up here. It's like just very irritable and cranky and just someone that they're very restless. It's like I'm not getting enough sleep. I know that's very specific, so only take it however it hits for you. There's still good potential energy here. But the Four of Swords can also deal with the inner person, your inner self, your inner mind, your inner voice. And when I see it in reverse under the Five of Swords, this is someone where their inner voice is telling them some things. This is someone whose inner voice is like kind of hyping them up a little bit. And again, I'm not saying it's you, but this is someone they just feel very grumpy, irritable, mad, angry, all that kind of stuff. So there might be someone where spirit's like, all right, well, just be cautious with this one, Libra. Be cautious with this one, because like their internal self, it's just something where it's like not sitting right. We're going to keep going. I don't feel like we need to continue to dig deeper into it. Um, it's just something that it feels like it's just not sitting right. Now, for some of you, there could be a situation you're dealing with where it's like, yeah, everything seems fine, but something feels off. Like I can't put my finger on it. If we take that other message about a pissed off person away, it's like I feel something off, but I can't put my finger on it. Let's keep going. Or someone feels that way. Let's see what the Ace of Swords has. Let's see what that Ace of Swords is about. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, we're going to have to look at this result. So we have the Page of Pentacles and the upright underneath this Ace of Swords. This is a conversation or talk of importance or seriousness. That's initially what it feels like to me with this combination, where it's like, yep, there's some things I'm going to say, and I'm going to say them, and you might not like them, but I'm going to say them anyway. It's like giving me this kind of energy here. So to me, when I see a serious talk, it's either one that seriously needs to be had or one of a serious nature. Nothing wrong with straightforward, honest communication. That's kind of what I'm picking up here in the center. But it's like just watch that it doesn't pull into hurtful, because there could be that potential. Listen, I know Libras are, for the most part, very sweet individuals, very good with their words, um, and don't normally like to purposely upset people. But this energy feels like I'm kind of hurting someone's feelings without realizing it. Now, again, I'm not saying that's something you're going to do. It could be someone else doing it, but it's like someone that's not very careful with their words. So it's like we have this odd energy here where it's like the wires are kind of crossed. Page of Pentacles could be an earth sign you're dealing with, could be a younger individual as well. Pages are just like aces. They're all about communication. They're all about knowledge. So again, like with the Ace of Swords and the Page of Pentacles, there could be something where it's like, can you just tell me the damn truth? Or can you just get it out there? Because that's kind of how it feels to me, like with the serious, honest kind of talk where it's like, okay, well, if there's anything I'm missing, can you please clue me in? Or can you just say it? Like, I feel something. Can you just say the thing? Like, that's how this feels to me. So we're going to keep going. It's a little choppy on this front end, but that's okay. Just watch the communication. There might be certain things where it's like a little too hurtful than I'm trying to be. Let's go in on the nine. Not like I'm trying to be hurtful, but I think you get what I mean. Let's go in on that Nine of Pentacles, and we'll do a quick recap before we get into the shadow. So why is that Nine of Pentacles here? Thank you. Slower. Yeah, there's just something where it's like you're going to have to be very patient with it. Whether it's a person, whether it's a problem, whether it's a process you're going through. Nine of Pentacles with the Knight of Pentacles here. Sometimes it's good to not inflame things, right? And when I see the Nine of Pentacles with the Knight of Pentacles, it's like, okay, like I'm not going to be very reactionary. So maybe Spirit wants you to, I'm not going to say ignore somebody. It doesn't feel like I'm flat out ignoring. I'm just not being very reactionary, if that makes sense. So there could be something where Spirit's like, just try not, the more you react, the more inflamed it's going to get. So like there's this very stoic, slow moving energy. Now for a portion of you, maybe there is something where Spirit just wants you to be patient with it, or whether it's a person, whether it is the conversation, it's like just be patient with it, Libra. I know Libras are very good at that, but these cards are very similar. They both move very slow, especially with them. And notice we have half air, half earth. These energies are on two different wavelengths. Air energy wants to boom, boom, get stuff done, do it, do it, do it. Earth energy loves to take its time. Okay, and that could be frustrating for some of you. So communication is a huge key here. Half of the reading does key around communication cards. But yeah, when I see the Nine of Pentacles with the Knight of Pentacles, it's like, all right, well, the less reaction you show, the better. Okay, I'm not saying that you have to ignore someone or block someone or act like you don't care at all. But it's like the more reactionary you are, the more you can inflame something in this time. So maybe take this as a bit of a warning throughout the week, especially if you're dealing with someone that's just grumpy and irritable and angry. It's like the less you react, the better. So there could be some, just be cautious and patient. That's like the main vibe. Um, let's go through and do a quick recap, then we'll get into the shadow. So a little bit of opposing energy this week, Libra. It's okay. I mean, your zodiac symbol is the scale, so you're good at balance and this kind of stuff. But if you look here in the box position, number one, I have the Five of Swords, Four of Swords in reverse. Like, it to me, it feels like someone that's not getting enough sleep. They feel grumpy, they feel irritable, they feel angry and mad. Um, doesn't feel like it's someone purposely trying to be hurtful, but it's just there's an edge to it, and it feels a little pissed off, mad. In the center, we have the Ace of Swords with the Page of Pentacles. Like, this could be someone that mistakenly hurts someone else's feelings or says something that they weren't meaning to say. Like, there is like this serious talk or conversation that might need to be had, but it's like choose the words carefully. Choose the words carefully because it could easily slip into something else. Um, on the back end, we have the Nine of Pentacles with the Knight of Pentacles in the upright. So the less reactionary you are, the better. Uh, you don't inflame things if possible, where it's like the more you react, the worse it's going to get. Either that or Spirit might want you to just be a little patient with a person, unless your patience is up, right? I don't know what every Libra is going through, but this energy doesn't seem to be reacting too much. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. What do we got for the lovely Libras, please? And yes, I always like to pull one of these at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing. So let's get you one. And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel. I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this shadow card out. What do we got for Libra? Okay. But right when I go to do the first shuffle, it's like the card tumbled out and we're going to take it. I like to read jumpers. So your shadow card is actually the Wheel of Fortune, which is totally in opposition to what we saw here on the back end. Now, the thing I love about the Wheel of Fortune, it is great for little strokes of good luck or a little change in a situation where it's like, okay, now this favors me. So hopefully that's the case. But the differing energy with this wheel and what we're seeing in the main part of the spread is the wheel is very quick. It's very rapid. Now, when we look at the shadow side of this card, I always say watch the urges because this can sometimes be a card that's very willing to gamble it up, take a risk, take a leap, similar to the Fool card in that kind of way. So in this time, Libra, there could be certain things you are urged to say or certain actions that you are urged to take. Spirit might want you to slow and steady, especially with what we saw in the main part of the reading with the Wheel of Fortune. But even in the shadows, the wheel is a good card to me. So, I mean, you could take it as a positive and say, yeah, maybe things are going to turn around for me. So I like that. So yeah, we're going to leave it at that, Libra. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details. The February subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation, you could book a personal reading with me at my website, mastermetaphysics.com, so we could have a little chat. My February calendar is up, so go check that out. They usually go pretty quick. But for the February subscriber surprise, we're doing a nice different style this month. We're doing a winner's choice. So the winners, which will be 3, will have their choice of the Tarot of the Owls, the Gilded Tarot Royale, or a handmade crystal pendant from my shop, mastermetaphysics.com, once again. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the cards we saw in this week's reading, which one caught your attention the most, whether it really inspired you or hit you right in your feelings. Anyone that stood out to you, and you'll be entered to win. And at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.